Hey everyone, your home source of James, and today we're going to transform my gazebo here into a chicken coop. Let's go take a look. So for those following along with the channel for a while will know that it's not the first chicken coop that I've built. I actually built this one here, which is an old swing set that I converted into a coop, and it's still great. It's fantastic. Just probably the only reason for the upgrade is one, I had a gazebo in the backyard that wasn't really getting used, and two, I want something I can change the water, food, and collect the eggs a little bit easier in. And this is a little bit difficult, especially when it is wet. You sort of get pretty messed up shoes and all that type of stuff. So we're going to make it better. It wasn't without a bit of pain though. I actually had to shift the gazebo from where it was. This chicken coop was where the gazebo is now. I'll give you a bit of a look at how that went. So as you can see, it was a disaster. No one was seriously hurt. We're all good. No dramas at all. But you know, thought it was a good idea, but probably didn't pan out the way I wanted to. But anyway, we're there. We've got the gazebo where we want it. Let's go hook into the build. So the gazebo stands again. It's bigger and better than ever. We've got cypress pine posts now to hold the thing up. So we're back in good shape. First order of business we want to do is we're going to frame it out. Now on the entrance there, I'm going to put a full-size exterior house door on, so we're going to build a doorway for it, and then the rest of it we're just going to frame up very much like you would for our house. So we've got something to stick our Avery wire onto. Now for the timber that we need to use here, we're going to use a structural grade treated pine, and it's for exterior. If you use anything else, you'll find it won't stand the test of time, and you know it'll break down on you and you'll be just disappointed. We're also going to add a layer of protection to that, and the fact that we're going to paint it to match the rest of the gazebo here in classic cream. So let's jump right in and get this thing framed up. All right, I'll show you how I'm framing out these walls. Now I'm going to go 700 mil apart. I think anything tighter than that, it might start to look like a bit of a jail cell, and anything less than that, I'm probably going to be pushing it to get my Avery wire to, you know, sit nice when I come to fixing that up. I need to have a nice flat surface at the back, hence why I'm going to show you the technique I'm using here to do this. And one thing about chickens is they love to perch on anything. They will roost anywhere you give them a chance. And if I leave any kind of ledge on the inside, I'm going to have the chickens perching up on here, and I'm going to end up with chicken shit everywhere. So don't want that. So I'll show you the way I've done this. And you can do this with a miter saw very, very easily. Anyone can do this. Let's have a bit of a look at this technique. So I've set one of my frame pieces in place, and you'll see here that I've notched it at the top and it sits in nice and neat. Now this will do a couple of things. As you can see at the back here, I'm given a nice flat surface to put my Avery wire onto, and nowhere for the chickens to perch once the wire goes over. And then if you have a look at it from the outside, it's going to look really nice and neat, all right? Because we want it to look good, right? That's what we're aiming for. So I'm going to continue building these out in series, like I said, 700 mil to centers apart, and I'll do that all the way around the rest of the side here, and then I'm going to build the frame for where the door is going to go. Okay, so we've made some really good progress. I've got pretty much everything in paint now, and I'll just give you a bit of a look at what I've done inside here. So I put some more 90 by 45s just up along the top, and that's given me a nice flat surface now to put my Avery mesh on when I get up to it. And then you would have seen in that clip I did a doorway. Look, I've put a really basic door jamb in here, nothing flash, but I'll give you a bit of a look at the door. I actually picked this up from my mum's place. She swapped out her old cedar doors here, which are nice and lightweight, for some security doors. So I've snagged one of those. I'm going to swap out the fly screen wire for mesh, and I'm going to give it a coat of paint, but I think I might do that in the shed tomorrow. It looks like we are going to get some rain by the looks, but we'll come back to the door. But what I need to do is finish off the timber work. Now, I want to finish the timber work so I can get everything in paint and we can move on to mesh stage, and to do that I'm going to go with my nesting boxes next. So what I've chosen here is the brand is Bainbridge. It's an external nesting box. You can put 2 chooks in it. I find that they just love to all jump in the same one anyway. But the reason for going external on this, if I go around this side, is I don't want to have to walk inside the coop when it's all mucky. Alright, so basically in this one the chickens will lay the eggs. It's a roll away idea, and they'll roll into these little nets at the back here, and away you go. So hence that. So I've definitely gone form probably over aesthetics, but you don't really see in there from the front so much anyway. And then what I'm going to do on the inside to give the chickens access to this is I'm going to build some framework just out about the 90/45s again here, either side, something to mount that nice and sturdy up to. And then so the chickens have got better access to it, I'm basically going to do a stringer staircase type thing with all perches along it to give the chickens somewhere to hang out and perch on, and to easily get in the nesting box. Not that they'll probably need it, they'll be able to puff off the floor anyway and get into that nesting box pretty comfortably. So I'm going to get this stringer done next, so our perch or our staircase, whatever you want to call it, and frame this out so we can get a bit of paint on it, and then I should be able to move across to doing the Avery mesh. Let's go. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is put some guards in around the perimeter of the chook pen, so my dogs can't dig under and get in at the chooks. And it seems like the chooks want to dig their way out and the dogs want to dig their way in. So I'm going to use these. They're under the fence guards, I think they're called. They're pretty cheap, they're gal. I'm pretty much just going to hammer them in, and then I've got a couple of plastic saddles that I'm going to hold them in place with. So going to get around and get that done. Alright, so we're moving right along. We're going to put in our feeder now. Now the type I've gone for is a Dynachook, and this is a gravity fed feeder. I did on my last build make one out of poly, much cheaper. Did do the job, however, it probably let quite a bit of grain through and there was a bit of wastage. These are designed not to have the wastage, so I probably just saved myself a bit of time and bought this. So this is a Dynachook. This is about 80 bucks. You can install these pretty much anywhere. All you need is a post and a pole. They do come in the lubing cups as well for the water, but we're going to just mount this one straight up behind us, and then we've got our feed sorted. So let's get that done. So it just comes with these handy little sort of, you know, U shackle type things. And then on the back of it, it's just got these like hooks, and it just hooks on, so you can remove them really easy. They've got a handle on top of the feeder, so you can basically just pull it out and go and fill it up. You don't have to be inside the chook pen while you're filling it and having the chooks all peck at your feet, which is pretty handy. I do have, in the other one, I do have the water, the lubing cups, and it certainly is quite easy to change their water over, although we've got an even better solution for this build, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So I'll just get this last bracket on, a little bit fiddly. Like so. All right, beautiful. I did mark those out before, so if you're wondering why I knew exactly where to put them, that's why. And then should just hook on like so, and there we go. Let's move on to the water. All right, so moving along to how our chickens are going to get a drink. Now, in my other chook coop, I'm using one of these ones. So I'm a big fan of the lubing cups. Yes, that's what they're called, lubing cups. It's a great way to conserve the water because chickens drink a lot of water. Now this is a 4 litre one, and it's much like that chicken feeder I just showed you. It can be mounted sort of anywhere. But the only problem with this is that I've only got 3 chickens in there at the moment, and they rip through this. They'll drink 4 litres in a day. They do really drink quite a lot of water. So I wanted a better solution for this chicken coop. And what I come up with is this. So this is a 60 litre canoe drum, and this is from, I bought this one from Anaconda actually. It was about 50 bucks. And it came with a bung system, and I replaced that bung with the Dynachook, the same brand as my feeder, lubing cups, and screwed straight in, seals up beautiful. And then what I've done at the top here, I'll give you a closer look. I've ran from my irrigation system, so what I water my grass and my gardens at home with, and I've automated it, so it'll come on for 1 minute of water each day. And of course I can manually select it as well. Now I got pretty lucky with this project. My greenhouse is right next door. That's where my controller is. That's where all my solenoids for my sprinklers are. So I can easily hook this up. And now I've got 60 litres of fresh water for the chickens all the time. I don't have to come into the coop. And I know that, you know, on the hot days I've always got water available. So it's a win, it works. I've got it perched up just on some bricks that I found from around the house. I had an old stepping stone and a couple of retaining wall bricks just to perch it up a bit. And job's done. So let's move on. Well, all right, it's time to put the mesh in our chicken coop. Now, full disclosure, I've nearly done the whole lot. It's been a pretty long day, but I'm going to show you how to do it just in this back panel. Now, the mesh that I've chosen is a 25mm by 25mm square. So you'll need that. It's galvanized. It's sold as a cage mesh. It was about $180 for a 30-meter roll, 90 centimeters wide. So more than enough to do this job. It'll give me some leftover if I need to make some repairs. The other thing you'll need is some Avery clips and some Avery pliers. This is to help join pieces together, and a staple gun. And I'm using the high strength rated 8mm staples to put this in with. So without further ado, I'll show you how we get these this mesh on these walls. So I found the best way to do this is cut your panels to size first. Makes it a lot easier. If you're trying to work off the roll, you just end up having stuff everywhere. And I would recommend eye protection. I got my sunnies on today, and I do wear gloves for the majority of the time as well. I'll get it started without gloves, and then I'll go and switch the gloves on. Yeah, you do get scratched up a bit putting this stuff up, but let's go. So I've cut this to size. I like to leave some overlap. So what I leave is typically 2 squares where I can, and then you want to start off your piece really nice and square, because if you're not nice and square, you're going to get a horrible job down, you know, when you get to the end. So start off getting it square, or where we need to be, and just for now, just put a few tacks in place. Get it nice and square. Run it across, and you want to keep just a little bit of healthy tension on the wire. You don't want too much slack, or you're gonna, you know, it's gonna look not taut when you put it up. And we're just gonna put these first runs, we're just gonna make sure we're square. It certainly helps to have square building materials to work off. So we're just tacked in place there. So we'll get you in just a bit closer here so you can see what's going on. And as I said, these you want to keep it nice and square as you go, so you get a really nice finish. And when we're going to attach further panels to get our height that we need, we want it to look nice and straight, not like a dog's breakfast. So you can see I've got nice overhang, and to keep it all square, I'm just making sure that it sits nice and plumb with my upright timbers there. And now that I've got it sort of tacked in place, with my staple gun, I'm going to run them every couple of squares. So I'll skip a couple. These ones are okay. If you've got the ones down low, so like the front of the you know, the chicken coop, and it's going to be down low with the ground, and you're likely to have a dog, you know, try and push up against it, you might want to do them in every square. But for this back one, where I'm not going to have anything sort of interfere too much with it, it's more or less just to keep the chickens in and some predators out. I'm just going to go every second square. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy, but very time consuming. I've done most of this now, and it's taken me the better part of 5 hours. You just got to have a bit of patience. So let's meet back and I'll show you how to join a panel. So we're going to put the second run on here, and you'll see here that I've sort of started to set it up. That's what the finished product would look like. I know it's wire, so it's probably difficult to pick up on camera, but you can see I've got a nice uniformed finish. So how we're going to achieve that is, you don't want to staple this next sheet on just yet. What we want to do is we want to use our Avery clips, and we want to get this second panel all nice and clipped to this one, and then we can go and staple in our last bits. If you do the staples first, you'll have no wiggle room when it comes to putting on your clips, and you'll have your mesh won't line up properly and it'll look horrible. So this is your Avery clip, looks like so. Kind of looks like a backwards, it's hard to hold there. Kind of looks like a bit of a backwards J that way. I like to sit the more circular side in the bottom like so. If I can get it to work. Like so. So it sits in there like that. And then you don't want to just put these hickledy-pickledy, right? You want to have them all sort of nice and uniformed and looking good. So what I tend to do is I've got one here, I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put in the fourth. All you do, round like so, make sure it picks up both bits of your wire and crush tight. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing you want to look out for is I like to put a couple this way. Now what this does is my wire is going to match nice and neatly, as you can see there, you know, on the vertical if you like, or the horizontal rather, that way. It's going to match nice and neat there and there. But what you'll find is you might get a bit of gap going on here. So I like to put a vertical one in, you know, every third or fourth run, and you'll end up with a really nice neat result that looks like that. Alright, so we're going to finish this up. There's not really much more to see here. We're going to get it wired up, and then we'll come back and run the home stretch. Emma. Oh, you get it. Yeah, time to go. And there you have it, our chicken coop is complete. Thank you for watching along with this. I hope you got some ideas for your own chicken coop. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you have got this far through the vid, please consider giving us a like and a sub along the way. I just got a couple more pullets to add to the chicken coop here. But thanks for watching. You've been Home on the Tools with James. I'll see you in the next video.